UEFA's surprise decision to allow Barcelona to play Champions League matches at Camp Nou even while the stadium is still undergoing reconstruction has sent shockwaves through football. For months, the club fans and media have been watching scaffolding and construction timetables. Now those timelines suddenly matter in a new urgent way because UEFA has treated the situation as force majeure and offered a one-time pathway back to Barca's spiritual home. This isn't a simple change of venue. It's a potential turning point that touches everything from atmosphere and team psychology to ticketing, safety certificates, and legal precedent. Under normal rules, European clubs must nominate a single home stadium for all continental fixtures. UEFA Greenlight breaks that rule while leaving a host of conditions and questions in the air. Barcelona's board recently received a clear message from the City Council that Camp Nou cannot yet be fully reopened, which is why the club has quietly prepared to host some matches at the Johan Cruyff Stadium. Even so, the new UEFA flexibility lets them begin the season at Cruyff's ground and then move European fixtures back to Camp Nou if the final construction certificate or an annex confirming improvements is issued. The practicalities matter. A phased occupancy, with side stands in certain sections approved before full reopening, could deliver a handful of Champions League nights at Camp Nou, and those nights carry enormous weight. Camp Nou is not just a building, it's an amplifier of atmosphere, the place where European nights become legends. Bringing those crowds back, even incrementally, could lift players, intimidate opponents, and change the dynamic of home advantage in close knockout caliber games. But stadium access is not purely emotional. Safety certificates, final inspections and logistical checks are non-negotiable. UEFA decision is framed as an exception earned through force majeure, but the Federation will expect rigorous documentation that proves spectator safety is uncompromised. That means engineers' reports, municipal sign-offs and coordinated plans for stewards, policing, medical services and broadcast rigs, all while construction crews finish critical work. For fans, the immediate reaction is clear: excitement and impatience. Supporters dream of hearing the Camp Nou roar again, of seeing Champions League banners hang from newly completed stands. Yet ticketing will be a headache. Phased occupancy means capacity limits, shifting seat allocations, and the potential for annoying last-minute changes that could leave season ticket holders and casual buyers scrambling. The club's commercial and broadcast teams are also watching closely. Hosting Champions League fixtures at Camp Nou increases matchday revenue, sponsorship visibility and TV production value, but only if the games meet UEFA standards and can be staged without interruption. There's also a legal and sporting ripple effect to consider. If UEFA allows Barcelona this one-off flexibility, other clubs with stadium issues may seek similar arrangements in the future, forcing the federation to refine rules and criteria for emergencies. That could invite appeals or disputes in borderline cases, and it may redefine what counts as acceptable force majeure for elite competitions. On the pitch, coaches and players will feel the effect immediately. Managers plan tactics around crowd influence and pitch dimensions. Shifting venues mid-competition demands adaptability. A team arriving at Camp Nou for the first Champions League night of the season will face not just a different surface and stadium logistics, but also a psychological uplift that opponents will want to neutralize. So what should viewers watch for next? First, the crucial paperwork. Will the city supply the final construction certificate or an annex confirming the specific improvements? Second, UEFA match allocations. Which fixtures will be slated for Johan Cruyff and which will transfer to Camp Nou if approvals arrive? Third, fan communications. How the club handles ticketing, season ticket holder priority and travel information will determine whether the return becomes a celebrated event or a logistical headache. Finally, look at how other clubs and federations react. Their responses will shape whether this remains a single, pragmatic exception or becomes the template for future stadium disputes. In short, UEFA one-time green light rewrites part of Barcelona's season and raises broader questions about flexibility in elite sport. For Barca, the stakes are enormous. A partial return to Camp Nou could restore atmosphere, and momentum at a critical moment in the Champions League, but only if safety, certification and logistics are handled transparently and efficiently. Fans are ready. The City and UEFA must now confirm that readiness with paperwork, inspections and clear timelines. If they do, the Camp Nou comeback will be more than a headline. It will be a defining chapter in Barcelona's season. If they don't, the team may have to make the best of smaller stadia while the dream of full European nights at their historic home gets delayed again. Either way, this is a story that will unfold in the coming days and weeks, and it matters not just to Barca but to how European football handles exceptional situations going forward. If you want to stay updated, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the Camp Nou story is far from finished and the next chapter could change everything for Barcelona.